Definitely. So you mentioned the guys in the league now, Major League Baseball. Who would you build your team around between
Oh,
these three players? Ohtani from the Angels, Trout from the Angels, and Mookie Betts from your former team, the LA Dodgers.
oh man, that's tough. You got top five players in the league right now, and I'm sorry,
Definitely.
but this is a great question because I have a buddy of mine that plays for them right now. I'm actually gonna see them. Let this car go by. It's a nice day outside, so I figured I'd do this outside today. But I have a friend of mine. His name is Andrew Velasquez. We grew up together. We've been on various ball clubs together, whether Winter Ball or with the Rays. And he's playing. He's a starting shortstop for these guys now. John Madden is giving him an opportunity to play every day, and he's basically in the middle of the lineup with Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout. And just seeing how the creativity of John Madden being able to incorporate and use Ohtani, I think that was probably the best fit. So as far as like building, now you got my GM mode kicking in. I mean, it's hard not to have Trout, and it's also like you have a 2-for-1 player like Ohtani, and if you know that if you want to build a squad, you got to have pitching, and why not
Definitely.
have a guy? So like, I guess the immediate answer would probably be Shohei Ohtani. No disrespect to my boy Trout, he is probably the best player in the game. Whether he takes 6 weeks off of an injury and come back and still have video game numbers. On a GM, on a scale-wise to get wins, I'm probably going to go with Shohei. And if it was a National League team with no DH, I'm probably going to have to go with Mike Trout. But now that the rules changed, I guess my definite answer would probably be Shohei, where I can get that 2-for-1 special bat and pitching to have that in the lineup. But for sure, like all three, not to take any credit from those three players. Those players are really, really good.
Definitely. They're like you mentioned, they're top five at least. Now, all three of them are killers, hands down.
Hands down, ball players. Like Trout's got what, 12 bombs already?
Something like that. And Betts,
Ohtani's.
he's gonna do some great things for the Dodgers this year.
Yeah, I
That
hope so.
lineup is killer.
He needs a little bit of a little comeback, a little bit. But yeah, that Dodgers lineup is very, very strong. Interested to see how their pitching staff unfolds, how their bullpen reacts throughout the season. They're a good team. And honestly, the Angels are winning this year, which no one had them on their radar to even be in first place or even be a top 10 team or top 10 power ranking in the league. So, there goes me dropping some baseball knowledge right there. What's going on today? But yeah, you got those two guys in the same lineup. It's killer. And then you got some of these young guys, making a name for themselves, like the Walshes and the Fletchers, the guys that are a part of that lineup to make that happen. So, there's good vibes, there's good things going on in California with the two teams that they have there. It's good to see finally that the Angels are showing signs of a playoff team, because I want to see Mike Trout win. I want to see him win a World Series. Like the guy's been under that organization, and it hasn't been a winning season since when I guess Benji or Jose Molina was the catcher, and that was probably in early 2000s
With
when
Albert Pujols too.
Albert Pujols and they spent a lot of money on bringing those guys in. The lefty pitcher, forget his name, but he was definitely involved. You got Pujols, you got they brought in some big names, but they just didn't pan out with the pitching. So now to see that they have Noah Syndergaard, former teammate, some one-year deals that are panning out to Lorenzo, just a lot of guys that come with some stuff to the table that can be competitive. And that was the question of the year for those guys, right? Being able to see if they had the pitching, they had the best player in the world in Mike Trout, and then they had the best player in the universe in Shohei Ohtani. So
hands down, a great player.
sure.
There's not many people that can play both ways, hitting and being a pitcher. What was it last year? He went undefeated. No losses on his record, right?
And for a guy to have X amount of home runs and over 100 plus strikeouts, what? Like,
it's killer.
it's crazy. Like, I'm like, he's got to be the MVP in Cy Young, right? So it's like, it's no question. I mean, they got two legit MVPs and Cy Young on the same team. And the Cy Young Award contender is also an MVP contender on the offensive side. So, or Triple Crown if he gets into a good year. So it'd be interesting to see how those guys pan out for the rest of the year.